Hello and welcome back to Bookish and welcome back to From Books to Action, Get to Work Wednesday. This is a series of video series that I'm participating in along with Sarah from Hardcover Hearts and Alba from the channel Seriella and Karen from Run Right Reads, and there may be some other people as well. Sarah and Alba already made their videos, and so this is my contribution, and I think we're planning on making a video every Wednesday, or one of us is going to make a video every Wednesday for a while to try to encourage people in the BookTube community to become more active in their communities if they're not already. Now, this isn't to presume that I'm more active than you or that any of us have ideas that you haven't already had. This is just kind of like gentle encouragement. And I think right now, considering how many problems there seem to be in the world, that it can oftentimes feel like there's nothing one person can do, that my contribution won't make any difference, that the problems are too big for me to solve, and it can be overwhelming. And I'll be honest with you, with the pandemic, with politics, with police violence in the United States, and now with political season going on, and now with a hurricane headed towards my house, maybe even as you're watching this video, I frequently feel overwhelmed. And one of the things that happens when I'm overwhelmed like that is I have a tendency to shut down and to do nothing where I could at least do something. And so that's one of the things I'm trying to overcome this summer, and that's why I wanted to participate in this series of videos, to encourage you and myself to do things, to take action. And again, the idea behind the series is that books would inspire us to become more, to take action. And so I chose a book which I've always found inspirational, which I'm sure many of you have read, and that is The Man Who Planted Trees, a story by Giono. This book was published some time ago. There is an animated film of the movie, which is available on YouTube, and I'll leave the link down below, so if you're not aware of the story, you can. But essentially, the story of The Man Who Planted Trees is that our narrator meets a man essentially out in the middle of nowhere in France and learns that this man plants trees, that every day or so, or at least once a week, he goes out and he plants trees. And over the course of the story, what you learn is that this one man is responsible for reforesting an area that had been deforested for industrial purposes. And that he has himself planted all kinds of forests, and those forests become home to all kinds of wildlife which had left the area and make the area a much more pleasant place to live. That is a story of one person making a difference. Now, I'll tell you going in that this is a fictional story, that the main character who plants all these trees is not real, and the story who told here is a work of fiction. But I would also tell you that this story has inspired people around the world to do something very similar to this on the individual level and on a group level. As a matter of fact, I'll leave links to two organizations which are raising money and planting trees all the time. I'll leave links to those organizations down below if you want to donate money to them. So, certainly the story itself isn't real, but it has inspired people, and I've always found it inspirational for a number of reasons. First of all, it does kind of point out that we can have an impact, that to have an impact we don't necessarily have to do something on the world stage or on the nationwide stage. We can just do things on our own. We can do things in small groups that make a difference, that have a much broader impact than we think they're going to have. And if you think, well, it's a fictional story, it doesn't matter, I'll point out the author of this story inspired real efforts to do exactly what his character in the story does. So, a couple of things then that I think are important in the story. Number one, individual small actions do make a difference. Even if what you do only affects one person or one community or one group of people in a positive way, it still has an impact. People have a tendency to remember kindness done to them. They have a tendency to remember how others helped them, and that makes them more likely to help others, which in and of itself is a great thing. Also, I think this reminds us of the impact of words, and that words are a way of inspiring action and bringing about change. In the wake of the George Floyd murder and the resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement, I've been really pleased that BookTube has, I think, embraced that and created some change here. I hope it's permanent change. I hope it's significant change, but there has been a change here on BookTube, just in terms of activism related to that, and in terms of activism related to changing our ways of thinking. And those things do make a difference. You know, there's an old phrase from, I think, the environmental movement, which says, think globally, act locally. And that's one of those things I've always tried to keep in mind, that even if I don't always go out and volunteer, that when I do, most often it's a volunteer thing I do locally, hurricane relief or food bank, or just donating money to people in the area who I know need help, to helping, you know, my friends and neighbors when they need something done. That these are things that we can all do. So let me encourage you to be inspired to do something at the local level, to do something as like Alba did with the gas pipeline in near where she lives in Puerto Rico, to take action locally, get involved in the school board, get involved in city politics, you know, fight and push for the changes you want to see made. That those local actions do matter. They may not solve global warming, they may not bring war to an end, and certainly, you know, those are noble goals, but local action really does matter. So let me encourage you to act locally. Let me encourage you again to take advantage of the fact that social media allows you to amplify your voice many times more than you ever have been able to before. Just on your YouTube channel, you can say something, you can create a video like this one encouraging people to take more action, drawing attention to an issue that you think is important. That matters. You know, you can do that on Instagram, you can do that on Twitter, you could do that on Facebook. These are things that you can do that, you know, people before have never really had the opportunity to do. As Sarah pointed out, you can write letters, you can sign petitions, and let me also point out, you can donate money as well as your time. You know, you can only do what you can do. And if what you can do right now is to donate money, I promise you the charities you donate money to would welcome that money. They definitely need it. You know, just because you can't go out and actually work, protest, volunteer your time in your community or elsewhere to help others, just because you can't do that doesn't mean your money isn't needed. And don't ever let anybody make you feel bad if what you do and how you choose to be active is through donating money, because again, I promise you, those charities need the money. So this is kind of a haphazard way of encouraging you as an individual to be more politically active, to be more active in your community, to be more socially active, to go out and take action, to, you know, act locally, do things to help your community, because it will make a difference, and it will, in my opinion, have a much broader impact than you imagine. Anyway, there you go. There's my video for From Books to Action, Get to Work Wednesday. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching.